Hello everyone, welcome to very interesting topic on functions in Python. So what is functions? Functions are nothing but a block of code that you want to execute multiple number of times. In the other way, if you ask me what is functions, I can say that functions are basically a organized set of rules and instructions that you wish to perform multiple number of times. That is what function is. Without further ado, let me explain you in detail what is functions, what are the types of functions, and how you can practically implement functions. As you can see, a function is a block of reusable code that runs when we call, right? So functions are nothing but sum, print, min, max. These are all various different types of functions. So functions are basically separated or divided into multiple different types. One is built-in functions, user-defined functions, and as well as lambda function. We also call this as anonymous functions. So now we'll talk about in detail of what are the various types of functions. As I told you, built-in functions. What is built-in function? Built-in functions are nothing but as a developer, I already created a function, right? Some of the functions are like print, input, and type, sum, count, min, max. So these are the various functions we have already discussed before as well. So that is built-in function, right? So now we'll try to perform some built-in functions. So let me execute some of the queries of built-in functions. So if you see my screen where I will write as print, right? So you can see I'm writing here open and close bracket. That indicates this is a function. Whenever you see that open and close bracket, that means it is a function. So if you use shift and tab, that provides you the documentation. Inside the function, it takes multiple n number of arguments. So let me print it as G1, right? So it has taken as input in the function as G1 and it has printed the output. So now let me write another function called sum. Sum is also a built-in function. So let me provide n number of elements 1, 2, 3, 5, 4, etc. Some n number of elements, right? So if you execute, it is telling that sum takes only 2 arguments, right? But 6 argument was given. So what are the 2 arguments? If you use shift and tab, it is talking about iterable and as well as starts from which index position. That means it is taking an iterable. What is iterable here? As we saw, list is an iterable, right? So let me give the element inside the list of values and let me execute it. Can you see here? Now it is performing the sum of all the elements. So have you used functions before? Yes. If you have worked in Excel, you have used a function called sum, or if you have used SQL, you have used a function called sum, right? Sum is a function where it takes multiple argument and it combines or it adds all the elements that is present in the iterables. So this way, we have discussed various different types of functions. One is print, sum, min, max, count, etc. So while defining the function, be very clear that you can only perform addition or concatenation between 2 strings. If you try to concatenate between string and as well as integer value, it will throw you an error. So you want to make sure that you cannot concatenate between the strings and integer. So now we'll talk about the user defined functions. So these are the built-in functions where we have a print, input, minimum, maximum, and as well as type. So these are the various types of functions. So consider there is a scenario of where you want to find the tax of the individuals. So at that particular case, user or developer cannot create a function. Why the developer cannot create a function for the taxation? Why? Because the taxation may vary on different years, right? Different financial years. For example, consider in India the threshold, or else we can say that in India the tax slab is completely different compared to different countries. Even for every 5 years, the tax slab may vary in India as well. So we cannot directly create a slab that helps to understand the end user. So what we do, we want to create our own function which calculates the taxation of the particular employee needs to be paid. So we'll try to use, or we'll try to define our own functions. So let me go back to the script file. So let me write down functions. So function, as I mentioned, basically it is three different types. One is built-in function, user-defined function, and as well as lambda function. So one is built-in function, and second one is user-defined function, and third is lambda function. So we call lambda function as anonymous function. We'll try to understand, talk about in detailed understanding of what is anonymous functions and why we call lambda function as anonymous function. So everyone understood what is function, right? Function is a block of code. It is used to execute whenever you call it. So steps involved while creating the function, they have two different steps that we have while creating the functions. One is creating a function and the other one is calling a function. So steps involved in a function. So the first step is you're defining a function, and the second thing is you're calling a function. So this is the major thing that you want to understand while defining the function and as well as while calling the functions. So functions itself has various different types. What you can see, different arguments. So various different types of functional arguments. So one of the functional arguments, let me print it as functional arguments in Python. So first one is position argument, and the second one we have a keyword argument, and then we have default argument, and we have variable length argument and as well as keyword variable length argument, and keyword variable length argument. So these are the different types of functional arguments in Python. So we'll try to discuss each of the arguments one by one. So positional argument. What is positional argument? While defining a positional argument, the position matters a lot. You want to properly define it, or you want to properly call the information while defining a functions. So now we'll try to understand how to define our own function. To define your own function, first you want to write it as def. Def is nothing but def keyword, that is nothing but you're defining a function. This is your definition, defining a function. So always while defining a function, make sure that you want to provide the function name. So let me provide the function name. Consider I'm providing the function name as so you can see here where they have also provided the function called sum, right? Sum is an inbuilt function or built-in function where it takes the n number of argument and it will calculate the addition. How did they perform this operation? We'll try to break down it step by step. So we create our own function like total. So now total is my function. So now I'm giving two argument, or the user is giving two argument. One is A and the other one is B, right? So this is your defining the function. This is your name of the function. And always while defining the function, make sure that you are writing open and close parenthesis. In the open and close parenthesis, you are defining the arguments. So I have given two arguments here. One is A and the other one is B. And I am using colon. Why colon is used because I am writing a statement below. So I am asking the user to function to print the output. The output should be A plus B, right? Let me make sure that, let me also write it as output, right? Output is equals to A plus B. Awesome. So now I've created the function. So always make sure once the function is created, you also want to call the function. How will you call the function? We'll call the function by using the function name. So for me, the function name is total. So how many arguments does the total takes? It takes 2 arguments. One is 4, 6. So I've given 2 argument. So it is telling me the output as 10. Awesome, right? How good it is working. So if I provide A, B, C, so how many argument it is asking? It is asking 3 argument, 1, 4, 6, 7. So it is performing the certain operations. But what if I provide more than 2 arguments, or what if I provide more than 3 arguments? Here is the catch. If I provide 4 arguments, can you see here? Now I am providing 4 arguments, but if I execute it, I will get an error. Why is that error? This error tells that it takes 3 positional arguments, but 4 were given by the user. Can you see? It is taking 3 arguments as A, B and C, but 4 arguments were given. So it does not accept. Understood? So how will we deal this? To deal with this, you want to have a good understanding of various functional argument. So in this various functional argument, our first topic I will be going to cover is positional argument. So let me write as position argument. So in the position argument, position matters a lot. So first you are defining the function def, and then you are writing the name of the person, and let me write the name as first name. So user should provide the first name. Along with that, user is providing the last name, right? Last name. So I'm taking 2 arguments, one is first name and the last name. So I'm using colon. Here I'm printing print first name, comma, last name. So I've defined the function, I've executed successfully. Now I want to call the function. So by calling the function, I want to call the function name. I want to provide first name. So the first name is G1 and the last name is Raj, right? So it is successfully executed as the function name is G1 and as the last name is Raj. So there is no error in this, but if you call the function, consider there is an Rahul Kumar. So if he is mentioning his first name as Kumar and Rahul, so can you see here? It is printing it as Kumar Rahul, but actually his name is Rahul Kumar. But by mistakenly he has mentioned the last name first and the first name last. But our position argument cannot able to recognize it, right? Or else consider it is taking 3 arguments as age parameter as well. So you are asking to print 3 information. One is name, first name, last name, and as well as age. So by mistakenly, if I provide this is fine. Here I will provide some age. So it is accepting successfully. But here if I provide age in between somewhere here, right, 55. So it is telling first name is equals to your first name, and then last name is equals to your last name, and then let me also provide age is equals to your age. So it is successfully working fine in the first argument, but in the second argument it is telling where the first name of the person is Kumar and the last name is 55 and the age of the person is Rahul. So sounds bit odd, right? So you can see here a Python is unable to understand what is the position that I have provided, what is the position I have printed out here. To overcome this, what the user can do, user wants to switch from position argument to keyword argument. So in the keyword argument, the speciality of keyword argument is where the user can also provide the key for the particular value that he is going to print. For an example, I am writing name. So in this name as a function, so here is providing the key as what is the key here you want to print? First thing is first name. So let me write as first name is equals to, and I am providing the first name as Rahul. That's great, comma. Now I will provide the age of the person. So age is also another parameter. How will I see what are the parameters that are available? Use shift and tab. This is your first name, that's fine. So the next argument I wanted to provide is last name, but I want to provide, let me provide age. So this is a keyword argument. How it works, let me see. So age is equals to, let me print the Rahul's age as 30, and then last name is equals to Kumar. So let me close it and let me execute. Can you see here, whichever position that you provide, but if you provide the function argument before the defining the values, if you provide the keyword before defining the values, it will properly arrange based on the function that you have called. So first name, last name, and as well as age of the person. This is how the information is properly tagged. So this is what functional argument, this is what position argument and as well as keyword argument is all about. But now again there is a problem that arises here, where if the user does not able to provide the age, so what happens? If the user is providing the name, that is, let me copy the same thing and paste it here. So name is Kavya, and here Shri, and I will not provide her age. So let me see what happens. Can you see here? It's getting an error by stating that missing one required positional argument, where which argument is missing? Age argument is missing, right? To overcome this, what I can do? To overcome this, I want to go for default argument. So slight changes that you want to do it while defining the function. So while defining the function itself, what I will do? I will provide the age of the particular person. Consider age is equals to 25. So if the user does not provide his age, by default it should take it as 25. So now I will not provide the age of the particular person, but I provided the first name and last name. So what it does, it by default it is taking it as 25. So this is what default argument does. So it will not throw any error. If the user has not mentioned particular argument, it will taking it as default argument. So next we'll talk about keyword argument. So what is keyword argument? Keyword argument is nothing but like number of keys that you are going to provide, right? So as I mentioned in the sum, it was taking some keyword like 3 parameters that has asked, but the user has provided 4 arguments, so it is unable to take. But you can see in the sum function, it takes multiple number of arguments. So how did they do? They have done based on the keyword argument. So let me provide the keyword argument. First thing what you want to do, you want to define the function, that is def, defining the function. So I am providing the function name called total. So this total should take n number of argument as an input without throwing any error. So to do that, you want to first provide star and then provide what is the iterable that you want, you can provide that, right? So now print a. So okay, so let me write as total. So let me print multiple number of argument. Can you see here it is taking multiple number of argument in the tuple format without throwing any error. That's great, it's working fine. So there is no restrictions like I want to provide only 2 argument or 3 argument, I can give multiple number of argument, that's good. But still I am not getting the sum as the output because I have not created any statement here. So let me perform some operations here. Let me make it as adding is equals to 0 and let me loop this through A for I in A, right, and adding plus equals to I. So now let me print adding, right. So can you see here? So what happens here? First I am defining adding as 0. So I am looping this through entire different elements that is present inside the total, and then I am iterating it and I am adding this particular information or particular variable. At initially it is 0 and then it will be like adding plus I. Adding plus I is nothing but 0 plus 3 and then 3 plus 4 and then 7 plus 5. So this is how the calculations will be added for each and every iterations. I hope that's clear with keyword argument. So the last argument is keyword variable length argument. So let me write it as 5th argument, that is keyword variable length argument. So what is this keyword variable length argument and when it is used? So keyword variable length arguments are nothing but, consider you also want to provide the keys while defining the values. At that particular time you want to go for keyword variable length argument. So let me define the functions here. Defining a function by using the def as the keyword. So I am providing info as the information. So if I just provide star info or star data, so here I have given star data is nothing but, star is a variable length argument, I can give multiple information, and here let me write as print data, right. So I will call the function called info. Now if I want to provide the name of the person like first name, last name and location, so I am writing first name as G1 and last name as Raj and location as Bangalore. So it takes successfully, but if I provide first name is equals to G1 and the last name is equals to Raj and then location is equals to Bangalore. So at that particular time it is throwing an error, got an unexpected argument, keyword argument called first name. Can you see here? Why? Because the data that you provide in the variable length argument, it will convert into tuple, but here you are providing keys and as well as values. So you want to convert that tuple into dictionary which accepts keys and values. To do that, what you want to do? You want to write star star data, right. Can you see here? Now the data has been converted from keyword to variable length to keyword variable length argument, where it accepted both keys and as well as values that is aligned for the particular argument. So this is the various types of functional arguments in Python. So I hope you understood what is arguments and as well as what are functions basically, what are built-in functions, what are user-defined functions, and what are the various types of functional arguments in Python. So consider there is a scenario where you want to create a function such that the function should take n number of input and provide some output. For example, create a function where if the tax or if the income of the person is 10,000, for first 10,000, if the income of the person for first 10,000 is free of tax, so you should not pay any tax, so tax free, okay. So for the next 10,000, for next 10,000, how much percent tax? For example, consider there is a new slab by stating that if the person is earning first $10,000, he should not pay any tax amount. If he is earning next 10,000, you want to pay the tax of 10%. Okay. Remaining, else you want to pay the tax of 20%. So consider there may be questions in this way, right? So for the first 10,000 income, the person is not paying any taxes, so he is tax free. Where 0% tax, that means it is 0% of tax. If the person is earning next 10,000, consider if the person is earning 15,000 as the salary, $15,000. So what is the percentage of tax you want to pay? For first 10,000, I want to subtract it by 10,000. So what is the remaining amount? That is 5,000. For the 5,000, for this 5,000, you want to pay how much percent of tax? You want to pay 10% of tax. So 10% is nothing but 0.1. That is nothing but for 5,000, it is 500 rupees tax you want to pay. Consider the person is earning 25,000. 25,000. So in this 25,000, the first 10,000 is free of tax. That is, the remaining amount is 15,000. For 15,000, you want to pay tax. So how this amount is divided again? For first 10,000, it is 10% tax. So that is nothing but 15,000 minus 10,000. Therefore, remaining is 5,000. For 5,000, you want to pay how much? 20% of tax into 0.2, and for 10,000 you want to pay, for 10,000 you want to pay 10% of tax into 0.0, 0.10, that is nothing but 10%, right? So let me keep it in bracket. So totally how much is paying tax? Is paying the tax like roughly 2,000 rupees, right? If the person is earning 25,000, roughly is paying 2,000 rupees as a tax. So you want to create such system, whereas if the person earns like 5,000 rupees, no tax. If the person earns 15,000 rupees, 500 rupees as a tax. And if the person is earning 25,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees as a tax. So based on this slab rate, you want to create a function. So let me start creating a function. So the function name here is, I'm defining as tax. So that takes input from the user as A or as an income. So I'm telling if income is less than equals to 10,000 for first 10,000. So you want to print it as tax free. That's great. So let me execute it. So this is totally working fine. So let me call the function name called tax, and let me make it as 5,000 as the income. So can you see here the output is getting tax free? That's awesome, right? But what if the person is earning 15,000? There is no output. So let me make it as elif. So if you have multiple condition, you want to write as elif statement in Python. Elif income is less than equals to 20,000. So if his income is less than 20,000, that means it is greater than 10,000 and less than equals to 20,000. If this is the case, what should be the tax that the person needs to pay? He needs to pay first 10,000, it should be free of cost, and then for next 10,000, 10% of tax, right? So what I will do, I will make it as income minus 10,000 into 10%. So I am removing first 10,000 because for first 10,000 the tax is free, and then for the remaining amount I am applying the 10% of tax, that is nothing but 0.10. So if the person is earning 15,000, what is the tax amount you want to pay? 500 rupees. Awesome. This is working fine. But what if the person is earning 25,000? So there is no such details, right? So now let me write it in the else statements. Else that is nothing but if the person is earning more than 20,000. For M, what I want to do, I want to print for first 10,000, income minus 10,000. What I want to do, I want to make it as free of cost, right? For first 10,000, it is free of cost into 0% and plus so this is your first condition, right? Income minus 10,000 into 0% of tax that he is paying. So next what I will do, I will make it as for next 10,000, 10% of tax. Here I perform no same thing I will print. For 10,000 into 10% tax, 0.10 plus for the remaining amount, that is nothing but income minus how much? That is you are removing first 20,000 and then you are performing 20% tax into 0.2. So you can just close it in this way. So everything is successfully working fine. So let me make it as, let me execute this. So this is totally working fine. If you see here, if the person says that tax, if the person is earning the income as what 10,000, so is tax free. If he is earning 15,000, he want to pay 15% of tax. If the person is earning 25,000, he is paying 2,000 as the tax amount. So this way, defining function is very most important in the real life. So this is what function is all about. So in the next session, you will be learning in detail of what is lambda function, and we'll try to work upon various different types of lambda function. Thank you.